For thousands of years, people and animals grew up together. Farmers carefully bred cattle, sheep, goats, and poultry that could survive in their landscapes and feed their families. These animals weren't just food, they were part of culture and daily life. But in the last 100 years, industrial farming changed everything. Most farms switched to a few high-producing breeds, while many old ones nearly disappeared. Now, something exciting is happening. Around the world, ancient livestock breeds are making a comeback. They're prized for their toughness, their unique flavors and fibers, and the deep history they carry. In this video, we'll explore why these breeds matter, the stories behind their survival, and why their future could be just as important as their past. So why should we care about bringing back these older breeds in the first place? Let's find out. Today, most of the world's meat, milk, and eggs come from just a handful of modern breeds. That might sound efficient, but it comes with big risks. When animals are too genetically similar, a single disease or climate disaster can cause huge losses. Heritage breeds help protect against this. They carry unique traits, like the ability to handle heat, survive on rough forage, or resist parasites, that modern breeds sometimes lack. Think of them as a safety net for our food system. These older breeds also connect us to culture. Navajo-Churro sheep keep alive traditional weaving in the American Southwest. Highland cattle aren't just farm animals. They're part of Scotland's identity and even attract tourists. And let's not forget taste and quality. Many heritage meats, cheeses, and fibers are prized in niche markets. For example, Argentine goats in Sicily produce milk that makes rare artisanal cheeses, while Icelandic chickens are valued for their colorful eggs and strong mothering instincts. Heritage animals also play a role in the land itself. Some are used in conservation grazing, helping control weeds and restore grasslands while feeding themselves naturally. In other words, they're not just surviving in modern farming, they're helping farms and ecosystems thrive. Now that we know why heritage breeds matter, let's meet some of the most fascinating cattle that are making their comeback. When we think of ancient cattle, one image often comes to mind: the shaggy Highland cow from Scotland. With their long horns and thick red coats, they look like they walked out of a storybook. But after World War II, farmers wanted cattle that grew faster and produced more beef. Highland cattle were pushed aside. Today, they're back, not just because of their tasty lean beef, but also because they thrive on rough land and help keep natural areas healthy. In fact, some conservation programs use them like living lawnmowers to restore grasslands. Plus, tourists love them, making them a symbol of Scotland worldwide. Another ancient breed is the White Park cattle from Britain. These striking animals, white with black or red ears and noses, once lived on noble estates and were nearly lost in the 20th century. Some herds were so small they had only a handful of animals left. Thanks to breed societies and conservationists, White Parks survived. Today, they're raised in both the UK and the US. Their beef is prized for marbling, and farmers use them in conservation grazing projects on rough terrain where modern breeds would struggle. Across the Atlantic in Florida, there are the cracker cattle. These are descendants of the very first cows brought to the Americas by Spanish explorers in the 1500s. They're small, quick on their feet, and incredibly tough in hot, humid environments filled with insects. For centuries, Florida cowboys, called cracker cowmen, used them on open ranges. But when ranching modernized, cracker cattle were replaced by bigger beef breeds. By the 1970s, they were nearly gone. Now, thanks to state programs and dedicated ranchers, they're making a comeback. They represent both history and resilience, reminding us of the deep roots of American ranching. Cattle may be some of the most iconic heritage animals, but they're not the only ones making a return. In some of the harshest environments, sheep are also stepping back into the spotlight. Sheep have been with humans for thousands of years, but some of the oldest breeds nearly vanished in modern times. Let's look at three that are making an impressive comeback. In the deserts and mesas of the American Southwest, the Navajo-Churro sheep has deep cultural roots. They were the first sheep breed developed in North America, brought by Spanish settlers and then carefully bred by the Navajo people. Their long, durable wool became the heart of Navajo weaving traditions, but in the 1930s, government stock reduction programs nearly wiped them out. At one point, only a few hundred remained. Thanks to indigenous shepherds, breed associations, and fiber artists, Navajo-Churros are thriving again. Their wool is prized by hand spinners, and their meat is sold in specialty markets. For the Diné people, these sheep are more than livestock. They are part of their identity and survival. Far away in the remote St. Kilda Islands of Scotland, another ancient breed, the Soy sheep, lives on. They are considered one of the most primitive sheep in Europe, with short tails, small bodies, and self-shedding fleece. They almost vanished because they weren't suited for modern wool markets, but conservation groups and hobby farmers now value them for their toughness and unique history. Soy sheep can live on rough, rocky land where other breeds would struggle, making them perfect for conservation grazing and heritage farms. And then there are the North Ronaldsay sheep of Orkney, Scotland. These sheep have one of the strangest diets in the world. They eat seaweed. Hundreds of years ago, stone walls forced them onto the shoreline, where they adapted to grazing kelp. Their survival story has captured global attention, and their wool is used in luxury textiles. Tourists come to Orkney just to see the famous seaweed sheep, helping both the breed and the local economy survive. From desert mesas to stormy coasts, these sheep prove that ancient breeds can thrive in places where modern animals simply can't. But sheep aren't the only hardy survivors. In the mountains and drylands of the world, goats with deep history are stepping back into the spotlight too. Goats are known for being survivors, able to eat shrubs and climb where other livestock can't. Some ancient goat breeds nearly disappeared, but now they're being rediscovered for their beauty, milk, and culture. In Sicily, the Gurgentana goat is impossible to miss, with its long, spiraling horns that look like something from a fairy tale. Once common across the island, their numbers dropped sharply after World War II, as farmers turned to more productive dairy breeds. By the 1990s, only a few hundred remained. Thanks to slow food projects and passionate cheesemakers, Gurgentanas are making a comeback. Their rich milk is used to make rare artisanal cheeses that draw food lovers from around the world. Today, they're not only a farm animal, they're a symbol of Sicilian pride and tradition. High in the Alps, the Valais black-necked goat stands out with its split coloring, black in the front, white in the back. These goats nearly disappeared as alpine farming modernized, but festivals, breed clubs, and conservation groups have brought them back. Farmers use them for meat, milk, and vegetation control on steep slopes. Their striking looks also make them social media stars, attracting visitors to mountain villages. And in the Middle East, the Damascus or Shami goat is famous for its unique appearance and outstanding milk production. These goats were once at risk as imported breeds replaced them, but breeding programs in Cyprus and neighboring countries are reviving them. Damascus goats are valued for their ability to thrive in hot, dry climates and for their role in traditional farming. They're even celebrated in local festivals and livestock shows, sometimes winning prizes as the most beautiful goat. From Sicily's cheese traditions to the steep pastures of the Alps and the drylands of the Middle East. Heritage goats show us how ancient breeds can adapt and even thrive in modern farming. And it's not just large livestock making a return. Around the world, small birds like heritage chickens, ducks, and turkeys are also stepping back into the spotlight. In Iceland, the Icelandic chicken is a true land race, meaning it developed naturally from the birds brought by Norse settlers over 1,000 years ago. These chickens nearly disappeared in the 20th century due to crossbreeding with modern production birds. But in the 1970s, a conservation program saved the breed. Today, Icelandic chickens are loved by homesteaders for their colorful feathers, cold hardiness, and strong mothering instincts. They may not lay as many eggs as modern breeds, but they are survivors and a living link to Viking history. In Egypt, the Fayumi chicken is famous for something rare in poultry: natural disease resistance. For centuries, these small, elegant birds thrived along the Nile Delta, where heat and disease challenge many breeds. As industrial hybrids took over, Fayumis declined, but scientists and farmers are now bringing them back. Researchers study them for resistance to illnesses like avian influenza, while small farmers value them for their toughness in hot, low-input systems. Their striking barred feathers make them beautiful as well as practical. In Southeast Asia, the Indian runner duck has been part of farming for over 2,000 years. Known for their upright bowling pin stance, they were once herded across rice paddies in large flocks to eat pests and fertilize fields. They lost ground to meat-type ducks in modern agriculture, but they're regaining popularity through permaculture and eco-farming. Runner ducks are excellent egg layers and natural pest control in vineyards, orchards, and rice terraces. Some farms even rent them out as duck patrols to control snails and insects, no chemicals needed. And in the United States, the Narragansett turkey tells another comeback story. This colonial-era breed nearly vanished in the 20th century when industrial broad-breasted turkeys took over. But in recent decades, farmers and food lovers have revived the Narragansett for its rich flavor and ability to thrive on pasture. Heritage turkey farms now serve a growing market, especially around Thanksgiving, where families want a bird that tastes like history. From snowy Iceland to the deserts of Egypt, and from rice paddies to American farms, heritage poultry are proving that small birds can make a big difference in food, culture, and even science. We've seen cattle, sheep, goats, and poultry all making a comeback. So what can be done to make sure these breeds don't fade away again? Let's look at the conservation efforts keeping ancient livestock alive. Saving ancient livestock breeds takes more than good intentions. It requires organized conservation efforts across the world. Today, a mix of farmers, researchers, and organizations are working to protect these living treasures for future generations. One of the most active groups is the Livestock Conservancy in the United States. They maintain a watch list of endangered farm animals and help connect farmers with heritage breeds. Thanks to their work, breeds like the Navajo-Churro sheep and the Dominique chicken America's oldest chicken breed, have gained new popularity and secure breeding populations. In Europe, the Rare Breed Survival Trust, RBST in the UK, has played a key role since the 1970s. They support farmers who raise rare cattle, sheep, goats, and poultry by offering grants, breeding programs, and promotion. Their conservation grazing projects use heritage animals like longhorn cattle and Hebridean sheep to restore natural landscapes while keeping the breeds alive. On a global scale, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations tracks genetic diversity in livestock. They coordinate with countries to maintain national breed registries, encourage in situ conservation, where animals live in their native environments, and ex situ conservation, such as storing embryos or DNA in gene banks. Some efforts are community-led. In Africa, pastoralist groups play a huge role in preserving indigenous cattle and goats, which are uniquely adapted to local climates. For example, Maasai herders continue to breed their hardy zebu cattle, ensuring traits like heat tolerance and disease resistance are passed on. Technology also plays a part. Cryopreservation of semen and embryos is now used to safeguard rare breeds in case of future population collapse. This genetic insurance policy means that even if a breed nearly vanishes, it can be revived. Conservation is not only about keeping breeds alive, it's about keeping them useful. Many programs encourage farmers to integrate heritage livestock into sustainable farming, agro-tourism, and specialty markets. By giving these animals economic value today, we ensure their survival tomorrow. Ancient livestock breeds have survived wars, industrial farming, and near extinction. But what can they teach us about the future of agriculture? Let's wrap up with the bigger lessons from their remarkable comeback. From the rugged Scottish Highlands to the sun-drenched plains of Africa, ancient livestock breeds are proving that old doesn't mean outdated. These animals carry centuries of history in their bloodlines, stories of survival, resilience, and partnership with humans. Their comeback reminds us that farming isn't just about producing food. It's about preserving culture, protecting the environment, and keeping options open for the future. Heritage breeds offer traits we may need more than ever, like disease resistance, adaptability to harsh climates, and unique flavors that connect us to traditional foods. The lesson is clear: biodiversity is strength. Just as wild ecosystems depend on diversity, so does agriculture. By supporting these animals, whether through conservation programs, choosing heritage products at markets, or simply sharing their stories, we help ensure that farming remains resilient in a changing world. So the next time you see a Highland cow with sweeping horns or a flock of unusual-looking sheep, remember, you're looking at living history. And thanks to modern conservation efforts, these ancient breeds aren't just surviving, they're making a comeback. If you enjoyed exploring the world of ancient livestock breeds, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Which heritage breed do you find most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below.